Hello, Money Magnets. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Today, we are super excited that we're going to chat with Marissa Brendel, the founder of multiple businesses, a single mom of a beautiful daughter, and an absolute powerhouse when it comes to balancing finances and family. Marissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, Marissa, we are so thrilled to have you here. For those who don't know, Marissa built an extraordinary life. And today we're diving into how you juggle all of that, plus some practical tips, maybe that we can steal or borrow for our own families.
You and I met, I don't know, 13 years ago, like a long, long time ago, at an entrepreneur course and became friends. But, then you left the country for a while and kind of lost touch. But yeah, then randomly we bumped into each other again in Cape Town and we have been reconnecting through your businesswomen network. So yeah, today we want to dive into a little bit more about your role as a single mom and how that fuels your business success, and also any simple actionable ways that you can share with us how to manage money while keeping family first.
I love that. I love that. Hit me with questions. I'm all yours today.
Yeah, so we both actually really love your story. So, but obviously, you as a single mom of your daughter are the brains behind multiple businesses. In fact, you actually like to call yourself a serial entrepreneur, which I love. Can you maybe take us back to the beginning? What made you decide to go the route of an entrepreneur? What was your first business idea? Tell us a little bit about you.
With pleasure, with pleasure. As Alex said as well, we met a long time ago, about 13 years. I think I just embarked to become an entrepreneur, and I did it in South Africa. As you hear, I have a German accent, so I'm born in Germany, but came to South Africa actually on a business journey or a business course. Never thought I'm going to live here or even open a business by myself. And the visit to South Africa changed actually everything, not only in the outside of my life, but also within me, obviously, because I saw opportunities which I maybe had not believed I could see in Europe. So I started on my entrepreneur journey, started with some projects, formed it into businesses. And as it goes, and as you learn and with experience, you also kind of lick blood of that entrepreneurial lifestyle, which means that it's not only creating a business, because then you're a business owner, it's also that you're creating your life around. And a lot of possibilities and opportunities coming up, but also the question, okay, how do I actually want to live? And South Africa gave me kind of that base, or the, let's say, the freedom to explore myself, and right away through doing business to obviously also pay for what I'm wanting to create. So I created I would say my life, what I'm living now, was born in South Africa. I started my first business, then knew how to kind of start a business, start a next business. And as it goes, and I'm also not really a sad child. I love people. I always, seek for new opportunities and hopped on boats and boats. And down the line, I saw myself opening in total 7 businesses, not all at the same time, but after each other, or one led to the other one, and so on. And that's why I said serial, not serial killer, a serial entrepreneur. I could say from my energy wise, I probably killed a lot that time, like in terms of, yay, I'm on the flow and so on. But it's also made me to the person I'm today, in terms of that I gained a hell of an experience by doing. I never been a person who read a lot of books, etc. I learned from people, and I love to learn by doing and having the experience and learn out of that. Yes, I fought on my nose many times, and I learned out of my own mistakes, but I've also been always a fan of knowing that there are person who are actually able to do it or have done that path or that thing again before me, so I can learn from them. So I was always a fan of what we call now coaching, what we actually know out of sports, someone who knows the stuff and observes you and can tell you what you can't see while you're doing it, and helps you to not fall on your nose, maybe hop over that hurdle and become more successful, or you embrace yourself and grow and so on. So yeah, and that's how my entrepreneur journey started. And I've been in different industries, so I didn't just follow one line or one industry. I've been in fashion, I've been in food and hospitality, I've been in event management, I've been in the coaching and self-development area as well. So there's a lot of things, and out of that, I actually, how do you say that? I birthed a baby, which called now the Businesswoman Network of Cape Town, which keeps us now connected as well through live networking events, what I'm still hosting since 10 years. And that feeded also all my businesses. That's why I do it and again. But coming back to the entrepreneurial journey, I think there's nothing, each journey is very different, and that's why I appreciate that I have the space to actually speak about my journey, because there's a lot of ups and downs, obviously, which I could write a book about it. But on the other side, I also love to give advices to other women and mentor them on their either they start out or they have an idea and they don't know how to implement it, or they have started and now where's the next step and what to do, and I'm overwhelmed, I'm a solopreneur, and things like that. So through strategy and guidance, or women who've been in their business for a while and they're thinking like, where's the next, and why did I actually start it, and how can I grow my business, and they need actually team, and they need a strategy again, but also the vision. So yeah, and that's been my journey. And on the side as well, I'm also a woman, and I always wanted family as well, and I achieved that too. I was married to an African man, and I have a beautiful daughter. I was way too young to conduct a beautiful marriage, so I'm divorced as well. So I had that journey too. But all on side, and a lot of women came up to me, obviously through my events or being out there networking. It's like, okay, wait, let us count. You do this. Okay, you're still smiling. You have a daughter as well. What? You're raising her by yourself, and oh, okay. And your circumstances, you don't have family here, and you also don't get support from anyone. It's like, are you born rich or something? Like, what's going on? I would say, fortunately, I'm not born rich, because I think I would be not in the position I'm today. I would not have made all the experiences as well. And I would definitely not put myself into this whole topic of investing and working with money and so on. Because I think when you have it already, you grow up with it, it has been done for you. So if you have the journey of earning money yourself and actually then starting to take responsibility about it, if it becomes bigger and or you have plans with it, you're starting to, start the dance with it. And I miss that through schools. We never got in touch with money or what it actually means, let it be an energy, let it be, there's strategies behind it, let money work for you. What is this whole thing? And so I went on that journey. I think that was latest in the whole Corona time, when I had to take a break of certain businesses. And I really thought like, okay, we're going to get out of this. But then I might be like half of my savings, because I had to somehow live from something. God bless, I had savings. I was always good with money, because my parents, to be honest, they've been more, I call them the living people, the modern gypsies, they went here and there and they lived, and then money came in and then it went out and so on. And I observed and I was like, Jesus, no, I'm going to be completely opposite. And I turned into that safety-seeking person who has always savings and debts and red numbers, like, no, hell, I'm never going to have a credit card, it's like really secure. Yes, that was a good thing that I really never had in my life, debt. And then later on in entrepreneurship, you learn that you actually play with money, and debt and red numbers doesn't tickle you, that's just a game. And anyway, so I learned also to deal with the red numbers. But as we speak about it, it just reminds me of so many patterns which we all have. And it's actually such a nice journey to explore them. Yeah, don't be scared to explore them. It's more about like, oh, really? Where's that coming from? And things like that. And I do the same with my daughter as well. I'm observing myself, and that I cross-minded, but so many things I want to share. But there's one thing I actually want to ask parents, if they actually bought their kids those money picks or something where you put your money in, And if you think about it, it's mostly things they're not seen through, so you can't see the money. They have a little entrance, and everyone says, if you put more in it, it's going to grow. And you're like, and now when I think about it, it's like, Jesus, this is such a bullshit. First of all, money is beautiful, want to be seen, want to be used, it's there for, you don't lock it up. Who gets locked up is angry, don't want to be. So why are you putting it in a dark little jar, and it's little, nobody gets a jar like that. And already, it tells you it's abundant. You can have a jar like this.
Yeah.
But it's like this, And then the other thing is as well.
And you can break it.
And you can break it. you don't want to break things because, normally when we break things, we get into trouble. So nobody really breaks it unless we're like, yeah, it's the dream or something. But and also that whole rumor of then it's growing your money. No sense. It's not growing. You have to put money in there again and again that it grows, So it's a whole, and if you think about it, things actually is already funny. And so I said, I'm never going to buy my daughter like a money jar thing. We have open bowls that see-through and she can put money in it. And then I saw already I started it when she was 7. And the first thought what came up in her, which I was very curious about, was like, Mommy, what is if anyone takes it away? And I was like, oh, where's that coming from? First of all, it's in our house, Does anyone and I had this conversation with her, does anyone come in our house we don't trust or, or want something bad? No, if we invite someone, the people, and why are you afraid of if it goes,
What did she say?
More, and she's like, okay. Yeah, but if someone steals, and I said again, okay, let's think about it. Someone steals, and then, then I would be, it's depending on how much it is, I would be a bit upset, but then she said there would be more. And I said, yeah, right, there is more, And do you think on stealing? She's like, no, actually, nobody comes. Like, okay, then don't think that pathway, And then that completely lifted up. And we have money jars and her friends coming and they're seeing, like, oh, there's lots of coins of money, And then you see what their patterns are. Like, don't you want to lock it up? Or it's like, and some are like, oh, just imagine we can throw it. And we're like, yeah, throw it, like we're going to find it again. It's just in our house. So it's so interesting how you can play with it, and that's made me also look at a lot of patterns which I have. So that's just one thing, the money jar. Just parents, please ask yourself, why is that money jar there? Did it make you happy? First of all, no. The boards with lots of money you see all the time, they make me happy because yes, there's like richness in that corner. Yeah. It's accessible all the time, And when someone comes like, take a coin out, and they're like, oh, thank you, things like that.
You've touched on so many points right there.
Yes.
Yeah, let me go back to your start as an entrepreneur. You said you had and have 7 businesses. Which one was your first? And you also mentioned like you fell on your nose a couple of times. What would you say was not the biggest mistake you made, but like the biggest learning or the biggest experience you took away from failing?
Sure. So my very first business, which was first my project, is I'm a foodie. I love food, and I saw the opportunities by arriving to South Africa. Obviously, I connected first with Germans because they spoke my language and so on. But I really quickly moved over to like, no, I'm in South Africa. I want to meet South Africans. I want to meet all Africans, and I'm here, and I want to feel the vibe and the waka waka, and that's why I left Germany. And but I thought like, there's a lot of Germans, and I'm from Munich, Bavaria, which is in the south of Germany, and we have a specific type of food there. So I thought, okay, I like to do those stuff. I love when people are happy. A lot of Germans complain that there's not enough German food or that they miss it. So let me cook it. And I started with it. And so my first company was a German catering company. Yeah, I served all the Germans. My goal was to feed every single German in Cape Town and surrounding. And I did with sauerkraut, leberkas, fresh baked pretzels, and all those things. And until Paulaner, the German beer, came into South Africa as well, and I was their first representative as well. So it was an awesome combination. I already built up stalls at markets, and I had a little caravan, and I was at the cricket stadium permanently, and then private catering, and it was always a show because it was me, and I was in this costume, the German dirndls, and it was good.
I just wanted to ask, did you wear a dirndl?
Blonde hair, it was a show. So, and everyone loved sausages, and I saw it a lot, and it grew and grew. And then I realized that it kind of keeps me of doing it. It's event business. So you really have to think like what you pack in and what you pack out and for the next event. And so a lot of logical thinking. And I didn't find a big team or a team who can actually replace me when I want to go traveling or I want to spend my money, what I was earning and things like that. Because I worked when people had fun. And I didn't have done, like, I had fun, but not my own pleasure in this way. So, and I wanted to hop on the next business and the next opportunity came up as well, and I sold it, and that was my first mistake. So I sold it for way less than I could have earned out of it as well, because I didn't know the value of my business. I didn't probably that time also didn't know the value of myself. And so I learned really to conduct it, and I didn't ask anyone. But I was over it. I was already in the next mission and in a new industry and fashion. Founded my own fashion label, and I also encountered a lot of other South African designer and started promoting them overseas. And out of this, raised an agency where I was continuously flying back and forth for fashion weeks to South Africa, to Europe, and so on. So I had the traveling part, and I'm good in dealing and in negotiating and so on. And I had in my backpack South African made things, and I could actually promote other people from South Africa. So I felt like I'm contributing back to South Africa, and also helping artists which are naturally more creative thinking, and don't think so much about money. They have this huge belief they can't sell, and help them to sell. And so that was my second business, and out of that, my shoe company, and so on. So it went further, it's one to the other. But in terms of mistakes, when I said falling on my nose was mostly about learning how to negotiate your own value, and also what is the value, what you build up, and dealing also between male and female business owners, like really like speaking to men in business. I always thought I need to wear pants, and I need to be stiff, and I need to be very hard. And it's made me in a way also quite tough and very, Germans are already straightforward, but I was more also from my thinking, I was very in my male energy, and I thought I need to do to be. And nowadays I know it's also burned me in a lot in a way as well. And that was also, that's only comes with experience, I would say, in a way as well. I can tell women now, everyone talks, I want to be in my female energy. And it's like, but what does that mean? So I had to grow into that. And what I learned out of it is as well, I always took myself some mentors or people I look at, and want to learn from them around. And I always surround myself with people who are cheering and, and they support my energy, and they like me how I am. Because what's very important is that you can step into still your bubble of friends and whatever, and you just be, to also reflect. Yeah. If you still do something that actually fits to you and being authentic. Because I must say, I also did projects where I thought I have to and I should and all those things, and I wasted a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And another mistake, now we're talking money again, is if there's certain things, if I would have known them earlier, I would be way richer than I am now.
I think we all think that. We all have that thought. So don't worry, you're not alone. But you're already there.
I was not after money either. I was not after money. Okay, there's also certain drives what people have. Some I love fame, some I love acknowledgement, some I love to have money and so on. And I figured my drive out very late, to be honest. And so that stood in my way of asking for more money when I worked. I did a lot of freebies, and I did a lot of trial and error and things like that. So so asking for money and not being shy. I think I also had a little bit of my mom in that of like, here's the money, and
that shame.
Also that
there's sometimes shame attached to that.
Yes. Yeah, and there's like talking about, yes, damn it, I earned 100,000 last month. And still sometimes it's still, even when I say that, there's something, because also like, okay, do people maybe see me then differently? And to be honest, they do. It's not a secret. They do. Certain things will come up in them as well. And you will then, but just then you will see who's your friends and who likes you for who you are or for what you're presenting, So I had to learn that. And money is an amazing tool to separate those different kind of people around you and so on.
I think it brings out a lot of emotions, money specifically. I've had that same issue with my mother, that I was telling her about like my money wins, so to speak. And then she was like, no, we don't talk about that. And eventually she hung up. She's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. She's getting better at it now, or I'm standing more in my power with it.
But you want to work on that, And there's so many beautiful coaches, masterminds around it where you can just tap into it. It doesn't need to be a huge course, but only a few questions help you just to tap into things. And it can be bit by bit. This doesn't need to be, and also you guys, what you're working, you have provoking questions sometimes in there, and you maybe even don't know, and then it triggers the shit out of someone, but it's good. We need that. It can harm you from getting where you could be. And I always had that drive of like, I could do so more, I could earn so much more. What is blocking me? And so I was very curious about that.
Did you figure it out? What was blocking you?
Yeah, lots.
Do you want to tell us about it? Like, that would be an awesome moment to share.
Let me get out my whole journal. So no, I've been quite on a journey. I did a lot of courses in terms of money, and that lifted up a lot. And what I love is that it's not only mindset work, etc. It's like tools on the hand to do and practice and to right away implement in your life. So, because coming from so many different backgrounds that, that just working on your mindset, it doesn't solve things, it just brings a lot up. But you want to also implement it. And as I said, I'm a doer. I want to implement. So I got taught a lot of, or given a lot of tools, which I still use when I feel unsure, unsafe. Okay, I have certain tools. What I do, for example, I do my diary every month. I write down very accurately, what do I spend in cash, on my EFT, everything, and what I earn as well. Just writing down on a monthly basis what you have spent and what came in as well from all kind of sources. Could be business, could be private, and the same with spendings as well. And if you're very, very organized, then you actually separate those things as well, just to make you aware of what numbers you're dealing with. And once you have numbers, you know your situation. That's it. You know your situation. There's not the bad feeling and I don't know, and I spend it a lot feeling, or I must have saved a lot, or things like that. You know it. It's on paper, and it gives you such a security in a way as well. And for me, it gives me always surprises. Like, God, I spent it so much, and it was so much expensive. And then I look at my diary, and it's like, but I still made more. I'm safe. So I can sleep again. Super. Things like that. So the money diary is definitely something what I have shared with a lot of my friends as well. And they give me the same feedback as well. It makes them more secure because there's no left and right. It's on the paper. It's there. I tried even to my mom. She started with it. That's one tool which I love.
Nice. I love that, money behaviors are contagious. So when you encourage people to speak about it, they actually start dealing with the issues, which is really, really nice. So it's lovely to hear that you're doing that as well. And we always call it the status quo, or your money diary that you were talking about. We kind of refer to stepping onto the scale, because with absolute certainty where you stand. And it can be very scary for some people to step on the scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I invite, do 3 months and then see how you feel. And if it's a tool for you, what makes changes, then you will continue. And I continued as well. Yeah, there's a couple of other tools which I could refer to. Making yourself spending pockets, what you minimum earn. And then out of that, you make spending pockets, like things, the necessary things, then a bit for pleasure, which helped me a lot. I'm a super workaholic. I can work a lot. But then when it comes to pleasure, I'm very frugal in a way, pleasure for myself. And I had to explore that as well. So since I made up a pocket of money I'm allowed to spend every month, I'm like, oh yeah, like we're going to this 5-star restaurant because I still have 2,000 rent left. So it's made an upgrade into my personal life and the feeling as well. And I think that's an amazing tool. Will help you to also become a better money manager, a magnet.
I love it because the cool thing about like budgeting spreadsheet that we have in our course, like it gives you the option not just to track all your costs, but it also gives you the option to like, okay, what is my budget for going out? What is my budget for this? What is my budget for that? And the very cool thing is, let's say, for example, with your partner, and you and your partner have mutual goals, yes, but you also have different priorities. Like the one loves to do this, the other one loves to do that. So you can just create little pockets for each of those activities and make sure that both spend the money that is allocated to that and don't go over that amount, and still are able to save for whatever their joint goals are.
I think all of those tools give you power. And also control about things, about your emotions towards money. In a relationship, because there's different tensions and emotions, it kind of organizes that as well.
Splitting of emotions. When you became a mom, did that change the way you approach money or your businesses? Did you, I don't know, become more cautious or more bold? Or did it have any effect on your business or
In
like your money
general, when
handling?
I became a mom, a lot of things what I did in my life made actually sense in the way of why I'm doing this. There was a bigger, greater sense behind it. Obviously, opening a lot of businesses, then I thought, okay, when I do it, don't just play around, make it a legacy or make something, lasting, or maybe something my daughter can use. So there was a different intention to whatever I did. But with money as well, it only came now later where I also thought, okay, the needs are becoming more when they grow up, and you really have to plan with them now as well, or for them too, because you don't want to be as a parent, or I don't want to be the one who's like scraping when they want something, or tell her no, it's not possible. She should always be aware of that it comes from somewhere, and that we budget towards it, doesn't just fall from the sky, that she also learns that, like, okay, I can budget, I can plan, things like that. And also that I can allow her a lot of things.
So how do you include her in your like money planning? Like how old is she now?
She's 10.
So you said you started with the bowls when she was 7. Are there any other of your money habits or financial habits that you include her in? Or like how do you teach her about money and budgeting and where money comes from and so on?
So to be honest, and also to tell this to other parents, if you're quite aware, you will, or conscious, you will tap into a lot of things what they mirror you, as in lots of things, and with money as well. And sometimes it shocks me what she says, because I thought I have worked through it, but it's still there. For example, that she goes to a store and she's like, oh, that's too expensive. And I was like, where do you, make that depending on, things like that. Did I say that? Then I go back to myself. Did I say that? Or things like subconsciously, maybe as well. Or I have this open conversation with her that I really said, why do you think it's expensive? What are you comparing it with? And then we're discussing. And then she's like, for example, ice cream, a Magnum costs now 50 Rand or 40 Rand. And there's this other ice for no brand, it costs 20 Rand. Obviously, I know there's a quality difference, there's marketing behind, la, 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 but she's like, oh, I have, 30 Rand. Oh, that's expensive. It's like, no, hold on, let's discuss that. And this is Magnum. Magnum is a bigger brand, they have more spendings for the marketing, so they're well known. So they have to somehow earn the money, so they make the prices higher. Magnum also is known for certain things, what they write, real chocolate. The other one has not real chocolate. And then she understands, and so now she looks at things. But she is also quite aware of, like, she kind of compares already. We're going to Woolies, we're going to Pick and Pay, we're going to Checkers, and she sees the different prices. And now also through us traveling through the world, she also says, like, we came back from Thailand, which is in the living quite cheap, and you get really good quality. And she came back and stood in the Woolies. She's like, this is unfair. The quality is not even good and so expensive here. Why? Why can't we eat healthy and, and lots and what we want? And that's like where I was like, wow, that's quite aware, like, so, but there will be patterns where we will kind of want to even it out. I don't want her to feel limited, and it's probably coming from my limits, maybe not only me, but I want her to feel when she goes shopping, we abundant. I try to rather, take what you want. And even she takes those raviolis and it costs 120 Rand because they're from, I don't know, Massimo's or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, take them. It's fine. Enjoy them, Or I even say to her, look, they cost 120 Rand. We can actually sit in a restaurant and eat it there and get served. Would you rather do this, or you want it in a package? And it's like, oh yeah, then it's expensive. Like, we get another value. So I teach her more value to know what you get. And I think it's important, what's behind it. What do you want? Do you get the value? Then buy whatever, if you have the value and you want it, then buy it. Better than buy it because other people have it, or you just attracted to it, or, things like that.
That reminds me of what my mom used to say when we were kids. We grew up like normal middle class, but money wasn't abundant. And she used to say, like, we can't afford to buy cheap. Like, quality was always super important to her. Like, she'd rather spend the money on something that was high quality, but would last way longer than cheap clothing that you have to replace every year, basically. Yeah, so that's basically what you're teaching your daughter as well.
Yeah, kind of, in a way. It's really the value, like it's really, it's also for everyone as a value, not what they write on the package, what the value is. It's really what does it to you, does it value. If it makes her super happy to have those raviolis, hell yeah, then I'm going to buy it. And she is talking still at the morning in the school that she had the most amazing dinner in a way, then it has value. Or if I go with my friend and sit on the, I don't know, Sky Hotel, and the champagne is not normal 80 Rand, it's like 280 Rand. Yes, but I'm going to have it because I'm only once there at the Sky Hotel. Probably not going to come back, but I'm once there. So, and then it's the value created in that moment in a way as well. And I had to teach that myself as well, because you're buying into it in a certain energy as well. How does it make you feel, the thing, not what you spend it. And I think we're looking a lot of, what did I just spend? If that thing, what you spend, and makes you happy and raises your energy and makes you really, your frequency higher, awesome. Then I don't care how much it is.
We all had those moments of, it feels like too much. Like you've had so many businesses, and like, just like you, I'm also a workaholic, running more than one business. And like, I don't have kids, but I mean, that must be in addition to like feeling exhausted every now and then. So I'm sure you've also had those moments of like just feeling overwhelmed with everything. Are there any strategies that you use to get through those moments?
You mean specifically in terms of working, or also the drive? Because I want to turn it more into the money question, because there's obviously also sometimes you keep going also because you need the money, or or you want to, you want to feel secure, or you think if you don't do something, But for me, was it really important? And I think that was also a few years ago where I really got curious about how money can work for you, so that you don't always have to work. Because there have been times where I was freaking exhausted, and I had burnouts in my life as well, and so on. And I thought, and then I got this aha moment of like, what is if I don't work? It's my own businesses. I have maybe also digital products, or products who work for themselves and money comes in, a little bit passive, but it's never going to feed me. So that made me very curious about, I don't want that my whole life, just being the hamster in the rat race, even though it's my own rat race, what I actually created, fun and racing in it. But there will be times where I also need a break, like the birth of my child, who's going to work when I'm in labor, think like that. So, and that's where, or Corona, all those stuff, like, or where we blocked out, or your industry changes dramatically and you need to change, and that's made me curious of like, there must be knowledge, and so many have shown it as well, how you can make money work for you. And that's when I went entirely in this whole topic of investment. First, to gain knowledge about it, what money is, how does it work, and why are banks so freaking rich, and things like that, like just to look behind the curtains, things which I now expect school should have a topic on it as well. That's like where I educated myself left and right. And that's why I also built up now, and now we're coming to the juicy part, a portfolio of myself. Still not perfectionist, but I still have certain things I want to do. But I think as an entrepreneur, you have actually the responsibility as well. And it doesn't need to be from a certain age or degree of businesses or whatever, or time or experience, that you start thinking on that as well. As an entrepreneur, you should already educate yourself about investing as well. And this doesn't mean you have to invest and have a lot of money. It's about starting saving, putting it somewhere where it can grow for you. That's it. If it's not your own business, it's something else, just something small. It can grow as little, but it is growing, and that's powerful.
And there's different venues as well, like how investment doesn't need to be an actual investment in a portfolio. It could be an actual business that is working for you on your behalf.
I want to know more, but that's where your monthly meetup plays a role, which I'm trying to come to really exchange that, like, oh, what have you done? Okay, cool, I did this too, and da da da. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, just for our listeners, we have started up a monthly meetup that we are doing always on the last Thursday of the month in the CBD. We're very excited that Marissa is joining us the next time. So it's very cool. But I love to hear more about those money jars that you mentioned right at the start. Like, how do they look? Do they have some picture on it that says save some, spend some, like how can we imagine your jars for your daughter, how you set them up, and what's the purpose of them?
They're completely opposite of those money jars which we think are available in the store. Ours are see-through, so you can look into it, right away what's in there. There's no hidden magic happening there, or it's disappearing or whatever. Everyone can see it as well, so it's not a secret. You're either proud or you not proud of what you have, in a way. So even we don't lock it away. Even our helper in the house comes or something, we believe, if it's supposed to stay with it, it's there. And it's accessible. It's all the time accessible. Yeah, it's just like this openness of dealing with money. I think money is always like this little thing what we shush. I still am a fan of cash, because it has a certain, appreciation. And if I get cash, and a lot of my clients, they actually laugh. They're like, I always say, hello, Mandela. And I'm counting it in front of them again. And it took me a while to do this as well. Like I don't shush it away, because also, especially women, they come and they roll it up and little tiny, and they give it like shush, shush under the hand to you, here's your money. I was like, oh, hello, hello, Mandela. And I count it, and they're like,
a proper money magnet. I love
it. Throw it in my bag, and they're like, don't you want to, like, it's going to go. I have always like a basket where I just throw it in, and I sort it out when I come home. And she's like, they're not going to go loose and that stuff. It's like, no, it stays with me, wants to be with me, I'm talking like a little bit woo-woo, but it's in a way of like, I'm not afraid of losing it or having it or giving it away. And, also when I pay bills, and that's what I teach my daughter as well. And we think, oh God, we have to. So she had last time a fine from the library, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay the 10 rand. And I was like, yeah, but what? And she's like, yeah, I took the books in late, so I had them longer. It's like, there it is. They allowed you to take it longer. That's the price for it. It's not something bad or something, or they want something additional and they want to be mean with you. No, you got something for it. You're allowed to you have the books longer. And that's the thing as well. I do this even with my internet bill. It's like, I could freak out because they get always expensive and more, but I say, thank you. You're giving me good internet for that, So when I pay it, at least then I pay it and say, thank you for my good internet, or for my insurance, or even, with the rent. We know rents are going up and up and up lately. So I still say, I have a nice home for it. Thank you. So it's about that. Money is somehow, and we're talking about paper, hey? It's just paper and coins. So it's nothing. People really are very emotionally attached to it. And I think as neutral as you can get through systems and building your tools, it makes your life much easier. So I want to teach my daughter a lot of, those tools, and she can take them or not. She still has to make her own experiences.
Just like to ask one more time, sorry, those money jars, is there a goal attached behind it?
There's nothing attached that you have to do something, but I obviously underlining a teacher is like, okay, maybe we want to, put it in something what makes you a lot of joy, or, or if you can pick already something what you would like and then work towards it, just like that. But I think with kids, I wouldn't touch them so much. They should be in touch with it. They should feel and be allowed and be around it, but they also need to make their first experience. And my daughter is also way too early to do really proper money coaching in a way it is, so later when they can get involved and they understand the circulation of it as well, because otherwise, again, it's just paper and coins. If you don't understand the whole picture around the circulation and what money is used to and for, you don't understand. And then it's normal that we create just emotions around it. Or beliefs.
And you mentioned earlier that your parents are like the people who love to live and spend money. Money comes, money goes. And you just observed that. But was money ever really spoken about at home when you were growing up? Or was it also a hush-hush topic?
Yeah, we always said that in German, like die Kohle, like the coal, we're gonna burn the Kohle, we're gonna burn the coal, things like that. And I also explored that in my journey to like, sure, that they said it a lot, like they're burning it. And that's actually how they lived as well. They burned it. Literally, they throw it, what we also say, out of the window, like it was really quickly gone. And then I realized that it wasn't really often valued in a way. So that's where I could then kind of think, how do I value it? So I could kind of reflect it and ask myself questions and build up my own thought about it and feelings toward it. Yeah.
So it shows how like super important it is as a parent that, your money behavior around your kids is what you want them to actually learn. Because yeah, most of us didn't really learn how to handle money from parents. We had to teach it ourselves. So if you as a parent now have the chance to teach your own child in easier ways, so they'll have a much easier a head start basically when they grow up and how to handle money, I think.
Just that parents actually being aware of that is a very important topic. They shouldn't just let go and their way, certain topics we have to, deal with and really reflect ourselves before we, hand it over to kids. That's everything. It's money, sexuality, things like that, where we just have to, reflect certain things so we can give it further in the same way, just not conscious, or we change something in it as well. And money is a big thing as well.
There's so many people of our generation, like money was a taboo topic growing up. They still struggle to talk about money. Like I remember I recently had renovations done and was telling a friend about it. I'm like, yeah, we just spent, and I was thinking, doing calculations on how much we spent on the renovations. And I intended fully to say it. And he was like, a lot of money, right? I'm like, okay, fine, yes, just a lot of money. Like he didn't even want to hear about how much it was. And I mean, you talk about money very freely, very openly. Do you have any tips for someone who is struggling to talk about money, how to overcome, like, what's the first step to actually start feeling confident or, yeah, comfortable talking about money?
First, becoming aware of that you're acting like that is already fantastic. But then also looking, where's that coming from? Because by realizing that this is something you learned or you just took on from someone else, makes you already opens up the choice of, do you want to continue? Does it serve you, that behavior, or not? So, and I think by just reflecting that, where is it coming from? Or is there a source? Or being aware of that it is, then you can make a choice of like, does it serve you? Do I want to continue? And I think that's with everything else as well. I smoke, I cough a lot, and then I ask myself, yeah, do I want to continue with it? Does it serve me? Not. Okay, then I have to do something. And that's, I think, where you're going to become curious of the way of what you can do.
I really love the question, like, does it serve me? Like, you can apply that to so many other things in life as well. Doesn't have to be money, it can be everything else. Does that belief serve me well? And then you make the decision whether you want to keep it or not. Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
I was wondering if you, by chance, want to share a little bit about the future of your daughter and money. Perhaps, I mean, we're talking about schooling, we're talking about education. What are those kind of things that you perhaps want to share with our listeners? What are you prepping for her, and how are you dealing with those challenges?
Sure, it's a big picture we're
Yes.
tapping in because Alex knows me. I'm quite a, controversial thinker in terms of a lot of things. I question a lot, and obviously school is something where my daughter and me, we tried out a lot of things. I allowed myself to try a lot of things out in my life to explore who I am. And the same with school. So I'm not fixated on a certain path. I also like, who am I that I create her path? I'm her guidance, first of all. So so I'm on her side, and I guide her in things she wants to do. Yes, I have saying, and I obviously have also authority and the responsibility to make certain decisions for her, but we deal like that. I don't override her, let's say like that. I don't override her, nothing. So we have open conversations, and yes, she's very small still, but she understands a lot because I had always with her open conversation. I tell her in more children-friendly language, what I think, and then let her express what she thinks as well. And that's in schooling, the same with also with her future and so on, even certain things coming up in me, what I want her to do, I can express it, but it's very important that I stay with myself and say, look, that's what I think or what I would do. And then she still has the choice. Would she like to tap into it as well? And we do this with money, with everything as well. Even she comes up with like, I want to, save for, she wants that a little dog who is electric. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, we have things like that already. She's going to stand in the corner, So I just tell her, I share with her like what my opinion is, but I still leave it up to her. It's her money, It's her,
Yes.
so it's more about the empowering. And it's the same with school. And you ask something in future, I definitely choose more open-minded schools in a way as well. For me was clearly that in a very regular, even as a high recommended international school, they're very closed-minded in certain things, and that's not how I got raised, and she will not be raised like that. That's why I think she chose me as mother as well to come to this world, to go on that journey. I would wish that certain schools, and it will come in future, and I'm being in conversation with a lot of in alternative schools as well, where they allow themselves to actually extend their curriculum as well, where money is a topic as well. And I see it even now in certain international schools, for example, where they bring in project work and they teach with budgeting and so on. Again, it's the first stepping stone in a way as well. I think people become more open-minded that there's more important topic than, rocking down history, which you can't really use in further life, like knowing it's just knowledge with it. So we need knowledge what you can use.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's very important for people to understand how you can choose different paths with education, with money. Like it's a lot that you can explore on the way, and a lot of ways to get to a result. It's not a straight way, and it's depending on the people as well, how they actually,
And as Alex said, mistakes, if you call them mistakes, but it's like you're choosing a path where nobody laid out the stones for you to step on before. And it encounters that you're going to fall and that you do and build another path in the other direction and so on. But that's why I also choose entrepreneurship, because this is the kind of lifestyle, it's not a job. It's really a lifestyle.
We like to say so that sometimes you learn, sometimes you win. Obviously the other way around. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Sometimes both. You win and you learn. Yay!
Then even better. Yeah.
And everything has the duality has as well. Sometimes you also lose and you don't learn anything. No, that's not true. You actually learn every time.
No, you always learn.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
always learn. Sometimes it's just taking more time to actually discover the learning. Sometimes you don't want to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marissa, for joining us today and sharing your wisdom. There was a lot we talked about today. And yeah, you definitely gave us a lot to think about. I really like your open-mindedness and the curiosity to explore always new things. And do you have any final words for our Money Magnet listeners, or would you like to give a shout out as to where people can follow you and how to meet you?
Absolutely. So what I want to say to finally wrap that up is really don't be scared to try, in all areas as well. You will always find people who have done it before, so connect with them, and that's in all areas. To have someone on your side, to not do it alone. And it's in all areas of life, including money and dealing with money. And but don't be scared to fail or do something wrong or anything. That's part of the journey. And it makes you just stronger. And it's the same with, yes, I have also lost a lot of money by trying out, but I gained way more than that, so yeah. And that makes you strong and empowered. And how to connect with me? Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram. You find me under Marissa Brendel, my full name. And then if you want to connect at one of my networking events, then please find just the Businesswoman Network Cape Town on Facebook, on Instagram, or message me directly. Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa. We will definitely make sure to link that actually below in our podcast, Money Magnets. You've heard the incredible story of Marissa and, of course, about how she manages money and finances. And yeah, we love to have you here as a guest. So thank you so, so much for that.
Pleasure. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.